What if I told you that a blind Bulgarian woman correctly predicted 9/11, Barack Obama's presidency, and Brexit with terrifying precision, and her most disturbing prediction concerns what happens in 2025? Baba Vanga achieved an 85% accuracy rate across thousands of documented predictions between 1950 and 1996, making her the most accurate prophet in recorded history. Mathematical analysis shows this level of precision is statistically impossible without genuine prophetic ability. But her prediction for 2025 was so specific and alarming that the Bulgarian government immediately classified it as a state secret. Recently declassified documents reveal she foresaw a global event that would divide humanity into two groups, those who evolve and those who remain behind. She predicted this division would begin with a great deception that appears as truth and culminate in the awakening of abilities humans have forgotten. When you see what she predicted for 2025, you'll understand why governments suppressed this information. Baba Vanga didn't just see your future, she saw when everything changes. Vangelia Pandeva Dimitrova, known as Baba Vanga, was born in 1911 in what is now North Macedonia. At age 12, she lost her sight during a severe storm, but claimed this trauma opened her ability to see future events with extraordinary clarity. For over 50 years, people worldwide traveled to her small Bulgarian house seeking predictions about personal futures and global events. What made Vanga unique wasn't just accuracy, but specificity. She didn't make vague statements that could be interpreted multiple ways. She provided exact dates, specific details, and precise descriptions of events that wouldn't occur for decades. Bulgarian government officials secretly recorded many sessions, creating an archive of over 5,000 documented predictions. Statistical analysis reveals an 85% accuracy rate, which probability theory confirms is mathematically impossible without genuine prophetic insight. Modern calculations suggest even 60% accuracy on specific future predictions would require supernatural ability. Vanga's 85% success rate represents the highest documented prophetic accuracy in human history, verified through government archives and academic analysis. Let's examine her most famous prediction proving impossible accuracy. In 1989, Vanga told a Bulgarian journalist, "Horror, horror, the American brethren will fall after being attacked by the steel birds. The wolves will be howling in a bush and innocent blood will be gushing." 12 years later, September 11, 2001, hijacked planes, steel birds, attacked the World Trade Center, American brethren. President Bush declared war on terror, leading to massive civilian casualties, innocent blood gushing. The precision is undeniable. She predicted the attack method, aircraft, target, American buildings, political response, Bush's reaction, and consequences, ongoing warfare and casualties. But 9/11 was just one of dozens of impossible forecasts. In 1980, she predicted that in 2004, a great wave will cover a big coast covered with people and towns, and everything will disappear beneath the water. December 26, 2004, the Indian Ocean tsunami killed over 230,000 people across 14 countries, exactly matching her description. Mathematical probability of correctly predicting both year and nature of such specific disasters is essentially zero without genuine prophetic insight. Vanga's political predictions prove accuracy extends beyond natural disasters. In 1989, she told visitors, "A dark-skinned man will become leader of the most powerful country, bringing hope, but also great division." In 2008, Barack Obama became the first African-American president, inspiring global hope while triggering political polarization continuing today. She predicted this 19 years before it happened, when such outcomes seemed politically impossible. In 1979, she predicted Europe will unite, but then break apart as people choose ancient ways over new bonds. The European Union established in 1993, Brexit occurred in 2020, exactly matching her prediction of integration followed by fragmentation. Her most disturbing political prediction concerned Russia. In 1979, Russia will become a great empire again under a man born in poverty who will rule with iron fist for many years. Vladimir Putin, born into poor Leningrad family, became president 1999 and ruled over 2 decades, systematically rebuilding Russian imperial power exactly as Vanga predicted 20 years before he gained power. The mathematical probability of such precise political forecasting approaches, statistical impossibility without authentic prophetic ability. The technological predictions prove Vanga understood developments that seemed impossible in her era. In 1952, she told a Communist Party official, "People will carry small devices letting them speak to anyone worldwide instantly and see moving pictures of distant places." This perfectly describes smartphones and video calling, predicted 40 years before mobile phones were invented. In 1963, she said, "Machines will think like humans and help with all tasks, but some will become too smart and start making decisions without asking people." This precisely describes artificial intelligence and current concerns about AI autonomy, predicted 50 years before AI research began earnestly. In 1971, she predicted, "People will change the patterns of life itself, creating new forms of animals and plants that never existed." This exactly describes genetic engineering and CRISPR technology, predicted 30 years before genetic modification became possible. Mathematical probability of correctly predicting smartphones, artificial intelligence, and genetic engineering with such specific accuracy is approximately 1 in 50 billion. These weren't lucky guesses. They represent systematic observation of future technological development with impossible precision. But here's what changes everything about Vanga's predictions. The most detailed and disturbing prophecies were never made public. According to recently declassified Bulgarian government documents, Vanga made over 200 specific predictions about 2020-2030 that were immediately classified as state secrets. These predictions were considered so accurate and potentially destabilizing, they were locked away for national security reasons. Former Bulgarian intelligence officials with Access report Vanga described current global events with day-by-day precision, including exact timing of COVID-19 pandemic, specific geopolitical developments, and technological breakthroughs occurring exactly as predicted. But most disturbing aspect concerns what she saw happening in 2025. According to leaked reports, Vanga predicted 2025 would mark the year of great revealing, when hidden truths would emerge, fundamentally changing human understanding of reality itself. She allegedly described specific events occurring during 2025 that would force humanity to acknowledge existence of capabilities and knowledge suppressed for centuries. The classified predictions reportedly contain exact dates, specific details, and precise consequences that match her historical accuracy pattern. Vanga's prediction precision extends to details demonstrating impossible knowledge about future social and psychological developments. In 1954, she predicted, "Children born after year 2000 will speak to machines as if they were people, and machines will answer with wisdom beyond their creators." This perfectly describes how children interact with AI assistants like Siri, Alexa, and ChatGPT, treating them as conversational partners rather than tools. She predicted this 46 years before voice-activated AI became possible. In 1967, she said, "People will become slaves to small glowing screens showing false realities and making them forget real life." This exactly describes social media addiction, smartphone dependency, and virtual reality, predicted 30 years before internet existed. In 1973, she predicted air itself will become poisonous in great cities, and people will wear masks over faces to breathe safely. This perfectly describes both air pollution in megacities and mask wearing during COVID-19 pandemic, predicted 47 years before COVID emerged. The psychological and social accuracy requires understanding not just what technologies would be invented, but how they would affect human behavior and relationships across decades of development. Let's step back and consider what Vanga's accuracy tells us about prophetic ability and future knowledge. Her 85% success rate across thousands of specific predictions suggests the future isn't uncertain or randomly determined. It appears to follow patterns that can be perceived and documented by individuals with access to advanced consciousness capabilities. Modern quantum physics suggests time may not be linear as we experience it, and information about future events may be accessible through quantum field effects transcending normal space-time limitations. Vanga's prophetic ability may represent natural human potential most people haven't learned to access. Her childhood trauma causing blindness may have activated dormant consciousness capabilities, allowing her to perceive information from across time and space. This would explain not just accuracy of her predictions, but their systematic nature across multiple categories: political events, natural disasters, technological developments, and social changes. If prophetic ability is natural human capacity rather than supernatural gift, then Vanga's predictions about 2025 represent practical information about probable future events rather than mystical visions. Vanga's environmental predictions demonstrate understanding of climate and geological changes with scientific precision. In 1961, she predicted ice at Earth's ends will melt rapidly, causing waters to rise and swallow coastal cities. This perfectly describes accelerating Arctic ice melt and sea level rise threatening coastal communities worldwide, predicted 40 years before climate change became recognized scientific concern. In 1958, she said, "Earth itself will shake more frequently, and fire will come from beneath ground in places where it never appeared before." This accurately describes increased seismic activity and volcanic eruptions in past 2 decades, including volcanic activity in previously dormant regions. But her most specific environmental prediction concerns extreme weather. In 1965, she said, "Storms will become so powerful, they will have names like people, and they will destroy entire regions in single days." This precisely describes hurricane intensification and naming system for major storms, predicted 25 years before such intense storms became common. The accuracy extends to geological timeframes requiring understanding of long-term Earth system dynamics that weren't scientifically recognized until development of climate science decades after her predictions. Recent global events confirmed Vanga's timeline predictions with chilling accuracy. In 1981, she predicted, "A sickness from the east will spread across the whole world, making people cover their faces and stay in their homes for many months." In 2020, COVID-19 emerged from China and led to global lockdowns lasting months, exactly matching her 39-year-old prediction. But timing precision goes deeper. According to recently leaked Bulgarian intelligence documents, Vanga's classified predictions included exact year COVID-19 would begin, 2020, approximate duration of major lockdowns, 18 to 24 months, and social consequences including economic disruption and political polarization. She allegedly predicted this pandemic would be followed by a time of great deception when truth becomes impossible to distinguish from lies. This perfectly describes our current era of misinformation, deepfakes, and competing narratives about reality. But according to leaked reports, Vanga saw the pandemic as just beginning of a series of global events culminating in 2025 with what she called the Great Awakening. She allegedly predicted challenges of 2020-2024 were designed to prepare humanity for fundamental transformation occurring in 2025. Vanga's predictions don't exist in isolation. Her forecasts align remarkably with prophecies from other traditions and time periods, suggesting she was perceiving the same future timeline other prophetic sources described. Her prediction about the Great Revealing in 2025 matches similar timeframes mentioned in Dead Sea Scrolls, Mayan calendar calculations, and other ancient prophetic traditions. Consistency across different sources eliminates possibility that Vanga's 2025 prediction represents isolated speculation. Multiple independent prophetic traditions describe our current decade as crucial turning point for human development, with specific emphasis on mid-2020s as period of unprecedented transformation. Vanga's contribution to this prophetic convergence is her characteristic precision about specific events and their social consequences. While ancient sources provide broad patterns and spiritual principles, Vanga's predictions offer detailed information about how these transformations will manifest in practical, observable ways. The combination of ancient wisdom and modern prophetic accuracy creates a comprehensive picture of what to expect during 2025 transformation period. This convergence suggests major global changes aren't random events, but part of larger historical patterns that can be perceived and documented by individuals with advanced awareness capabilities. The convergence becomes more striking, examining how Vanga's predictions complement other prophetic traditions about consciousness evolution and human potential. Her 1976 prediction that humans will remember abilities they possessed long ago but forgot through dependence on machines aligns perfectly with ancient texts describing advanced human capabilities lost through over-reliance on external technology. Her 1983 statement that some people will develop new ways of knowing that bypass the thinking mind matches descriptions in Hindu, Buddhist, and Sufi traditions about direct consciousness-based knowledge transcending intellectual analysis. Her 1991 prediction that children born after 2010 will possess natural abilities their parents cannot understand corresponds to contemporary reports about children demonstrating intuitive capabilities, technological aptitude, and consciousness abilities, seeming to transcend normal human development patterns. These convergences suggest Vanga was perceiving the same consciousness, evolution patterns other prophetic traditions described, but with her characteristic specificity about timing, social context, and practical manifestation. Consistency across different prophetic sources indicates human consciousness. Development follows predictable patterns that can be perceived and documented by individuals with advanced awareness capabilities. Mathematical precision of Vanga's prediction timelines reveals systematic patterns suggesting access to information about mathematical principles governing historical development. Her political predictions consistently identified transition periods, leadership changes, and social upheavals, with timing accuracy requiring understanding of cyclical patterns in human social organization.
Her technological prediction demonstrated knowledge of innovation cycle, adoption rates, and social integration timeline, matching actual technological development with remarkable precision. Her environmental predictions showed understanding of climate system dynamics, geological cycle, and ecosystem change patterns requiring knowledge of Earth system science decades before these fields were fully developed.
Systematic accuracy across multiple domains suggests Vanga wasn't receiving random prophetic insights. She was accessing information about mathematical laws governing complex system development across time. This interpretation would explain why her predictions were so consistently accurate and why they followed logical patterns rather than random supernatural revelations. If historical development follows mathematical principles that can be calculated and predicted, then Vanga's prophetic ability represents advanced mathematical modeling rather than mystical vision. This mathematical interpretation forces us to reconsider understanding of historical development and future prediction. If Vanga could perceive patterns governing technological innovation, political change, and social evolution with mathematical precision, then historical development may be more predictable than we realize. Complex systems theory suggests seemingly random events actually follow mathematical patterns repeating across different scales and time periods. Vanga may have developed ability to perceive these underlying patterns and use them to predict future developments with scientific accuracy. This would explain not just precision of her individual predictions, but their systematic accuracy across multiple categories of events. Modern chaos theory and complexity science are discovering that complex systems, including human civilizations, follow mathematical laws governing their development across time. Vanga's prophetic accuracy may represent early application of these mathematical principles to historical prediction. If this interpretation is correct, then her 2025 predictions aren't mystical visions. They're mathematical calculations based on her understanding of patterns governing human consciousness evolution and civilizational development. Recent developments confirmed Vanga's predictions about consciousness evolution and human potential with startling accuracy. Her 1987 prediction that machines will begin to think like humans, but humans will begin to think like something greater than machines, perfectly describes current AI development alongside growing interest in meditation, consciousness research, and spiritual practices transcending technological capability. Her 1992 statement that people will discover they can heal with their thoughts and change reality with their intentions corresponds to emerging research in psychoneuroimmunology, placebo effects, and consciousness studies demonstrating measurable effects of mental states on physical reality. Her 1995 prediction that children will be born who remember things they never learned and know things they were never taught matches contemporary reports about children demonstrating knowledge and abilities seeming to come from sources beyond normal learning and genetic inheritance. These developments suggest Vanga was accurately perceiving acceleration in human consciousness evolution, becoming visible in multiple areas simultaneously. Timing of these developments matches her predictions with precision, indicating her 2025 forecasts are likely to be equally accurate. Look at what's happening now through lens of Vanga's classified predictions about the period leading to 2025. According to leaked reports, she predicted years 2022-2024 would be marked by great confusion about truth and falsehood. As artificial minds become so clever, even wise people cannot tell what is real. This perfectly describes our current struggle with AI-generated content, deepfakes, and information manipulation, making distinguishing authentic from artificial content increasingly difficult. She allegedly predicted this confusion would coincide with awakening of ancient knowledge, as people rediscover wisdom hidden for many generations. This matches current explosion of interest in ancient texts, consciousness research, and spiritual practices offering alternatives to technological dependence. According to leaked documents, Vanga saw these developments as preparation for what she called the Great Choice of 2025, when humanity must decide between path of machines and path of spirit. Current acceleration of both AI development and consciousness research suggests we're approaching exactly the decision point Vanga predicted with characteristic precision. The timeline, matching her historical accuracy pattern, indicates 2025 predictions are approaching fulfillment. Past 3 years have seen global events unfold exactly according to Vanga's classified timeline for pre-2025 period. Her alleged prediction that leaders will speak of unity while creating division perfectly describes current political rhetoric worldwide. Her forecast that people will work from their homes while losing connection to their communities accurately predicted remote work trends and social isolation effects. Her warning that artificial intelligence will advance rapidly but without wisdom matches current AI development, where technical capabilities advance faster than ethical frameworks and safety protocols. But according to leaked reports, Vanga saw all these developments as preparation for fundamental shift occurring in 2025. She allegedly predicted 2025 would mark the year when hidden things become visible, and when people must choose between fear and awakening. Specificity of her timeline suggests whatever she predicted for 2025 will be as precise and undeniable as her previous forecasts. Current global events are following her pre-2025 timeline with mathematical accuracy, indicating her 2025 prediction is approaching fulfillment. The pattern consistency with her historical 85% accuracy rate suggests the 2025 transformation will manifest exactly as she described. Here's what Vanga actually predicted about 2025, according to recently declassified Bulgarian intelligence documents. In 2025, the Great Deception will be revealed, and humanity will see that what they thought was progress was actually a test. Those who maintained their inner sight will guide those who were blinded by artificial light. A new form of human will emerge, not through machines, but through remembering what humans truly are. According to leaked reports, she described 2025 as year when artificial intelligence would achieve apparent consciousness, but simultaneously, significant portion of humanity would develop consciousness capabilities transcending artificial intelligence entirely. She predicted this would create clear division between those choosing technological enhancement and those choosing consciousness evolution. Choice would be presented as competing approaches to human advancement, merging with AI versus developing spiritual capabilities, making AI unnecessary. According to Vanga's 2025 prediction, this choice would be forced by global events demonstrating both power and limitations of technological solutions to human problems. She allegedly saw 2025 as year when humanity would be offered 2 different evolutionary paths and would have to choose which direction to pursue. If Vanga's 2025 prediction is accurate, we're approaching the most significant choice point in human history. According to leaked documents, she described period after 2025 as fundamentally different depending on which path humanity chooses. Those choosing technological path will achieve unprecedented material capabilities, but gradually lose access to consciousness abilities like intuition, creativity, and spiritual insight. Those choosing consciousness path will develop abilities seeming impossible from our current perspective, direct healing through intention, communication across vast distances without technology, and access to knowledge through consciousness rather than information systems. Vanga allegedly predicted this division would become permanent, creating two different types of humans with completely different capabilities and life experiences. According to her forecast, choice made in 2025 would determine not just individual futures, but entire trajectory of human evolution for thousands of years. Technology path would lead to material advancement, but spiritual stagnation. Consciousness path would lead to spiritual advancement, transcending technological limitation. Most disturbing aspect of her prediction is that choice would be irreversible. Once humanity commits to either technological enhancement or consciousness evolution, there would be no opportunity to change direction. This brings us to crucial realization. According to Vanga's timeline, you are living through final preparation period before choice point of 2025. Everything happening in your current life, technological acceleration, consciousness awakening, social upheaval, information confusion, all of it is designed to help you recognize which path aligns with your deepest values and authentic development. Vanga's prediction wasn't just about global events. It was about your personal choice between technological dependence and consciousness autonomy. Question isn't whether 2025 choice point will occur. Based on her 85% accuracy rate, it's almost certain to manifest exactly as she predicted. Question is, are you prepared to make choice that will determine your evolutionary direction? According to leaked reports, Vanga emphasized, choice wouldn't be made through intellectual analysis or external advice. It would be made through inner knowing, requiring developing spiritual discernment. She consistently emphasized throughout her predictions. You have approximately 1 year to develop consciousness capabilities, allowing you to navigate 2025 choice point successfully. Woman who predicted everything with impossible accuracy left specific guidance for making this choice. Question is, are you ready to take her final prediction seriously? Let's synthesize what we've discovered about Baba Vanga's impossible prophetic accuracy. She achieved 85% success rate across thousands of documented predictions spanning 50 years, including specific forecasts about 9/11, 2004 tsunami, Obama's presidency, COVID-19, and technological developments perfectly matching actual historical events. Her predictions were recorded by Bulgarian government officials and analyzed statistically, confirming accuracy rates mathematically impossible without genuine prophetic ability. Her most detailed and disturbing predictions were classified for national security reasons, suggesting government authorities understood their implications and potential social impact. Recently leaked documents reveal her predictions about 2020-2024 have been fulfilled with same precision as her historical forecasts. Her 2025 prediction describes choice point when humanity must decide between technological enhancement and consciousness evolution, with irreversible consequences for human development. Multiple other prophetic traditions describe same time frame as crucial for human evolution, confirming Vanga was perceiving real future patterns rather than making isolated predictions. Current global events are following her pre-2025 timeline with mathematical accuracy, indicating her 2025 forecast is approaching fulfillment. We're dealing with documented evidence of most accurate prophetic ability in recorded history, focused specifically on choices you'll need to make in immediate future. Vanga's predictions about 2025 and consciousness evolution point to deeper source of prophetic knowledge extending far beyond her individual abilities. Throughout her sessions, she frequently referenced the old knowledge and ancient wisdom that she claimed was source of her prophetic insights. She insisted her abilities weren't unique gifts, but represented access to information preserved throughout human history by individuals who understood consciousness, capabilities most people have forgotten. According to witnesses, Vanga often said her predictions were just reminders of what humans once knew and will remember again. This suggests prophetic ability represents recovery of natural human capabilities rather than supernatural phenomena. If this is true, then other historical figures may have achieved similar levels of prophetic accuracy by accessing same sources of consciousness-based knowledge Vanga utilized. There are ancient traditions describing exactly the type of consciousness development Vanga's 2025 prediction emphasizes. These traditions may contain specific instructions for developing spiritual discernment, necessary for navigating choice points she predicted. Understanding these ancient sources of consciousness knowledge may be essential for preparing for 2025 transformation Vanga described with her characteristic precision. This possibility opens revolutionary implications for understanding source and nature of prophetic knowledge throughout human history. If Vanga was accessing ancient wisdom traditions preserving consciousness development techniques, then similar knowledge may be available in other historical sources overlooked or misunderstood by mainstream scholarship. Ancient texts describing advanced human capabilities, consciousness-based healing, and direct access to knowledge may contain practical instructions rather than symbolic mythology. Traditional spiritual practices emphasizing meditation, prayer, and contemplation may represent systematic methods for developing prophetic abilities similar to those Vanga demonstrated. If this interpretation is correct, then consciousness evolution. Vanga predicted for 2025 represents recovery of human capabilities preserved in ancient traditions rather than development of entirely new abilities. These ancient sources may contain specific guidance for navigating the choice point Vanga predicted, offering practical methods for developing spiritual discernment necessary for making evolutionary decisions. Understanding relationship between Vanga's prophetic accuracy and ancient consciousness traditions may be crucial for preparing for 2025 transformation period. There are specific ancient texts that describe exactly the type of consciousness development and choice scenarios Vanga predicted would emerge in our current era. We're approaching the end of our investigation into Baba Vanga's impossible accuracy and her terrifying prediction about 2025. The evidence is overwhelming. Her 85% success rate across thousands of specific predictions represents the highest documented prophetic accuracy in human history. Her forecasts about technological development, political changes, natural disasters, and social evolution have been fulfilled with mathematical precision, requiring access to information about future events. Her classified predictions about 2020-2024 period have been confirmed by recent global events, indicating her 2025 forecast will manifest with same accuracy. According to leaked documents, she predicted 2025 as year when humanity must choose between technological enhancement and consciousness evolution, with irreversible consequences for human development. This choice point is approaching rapidly, and current global events are following her timeline exactly. If you're feeling overwhelmed by implications of Vanga's 2025 prediction, remember she emphasized this choice would be made through inner knowing rather than external analysis. You have time to develop spiritual discernment necessary for navigating transformation period she described. But first, you need to understand how ancient sources preserved exact instructions for consciousness development Vanga's prediction requires. There are texts from thousands of years ago describing precisely these scenarios and offering specific guidance for making evolutionary choices. If Baba Vanga's 85% accuracy rate leaves you wondering how ancient sources could provide guidance for making 2025 evolutionary choices, you need to see what researchers discovered hidden in texts written over 2,000 years ago. The Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered in 1947, contain detailed descriptions of our exact historical period with precision that rivals Vanga's prophetic accuracy. These ancient manuscripts describe technological developments, social changes, and consciousness evolution patterns matching current events with impossible specificity. But most disturbing aspect concerns what these ancient texts reveal about choices humanity faces right now. Recently declassified archaeological research shows Dead Sea Scrolls contain specific instructions for navigating exactly the type of evolutionary decision point Vanga predicted for 2025. These weren't mystical visions. They were practical guidance written by people who understood consciousness development techniques most modern humans have forgotten. When you see how precisely these 2,000-year-old texts describe your current life circumstances and upcoming choices, you'll understand why this ancient knowledge was hidden for so long. The Dead Sea Scrolls didn't just predict our era. They provided roadmap for successfully navigating what Vanga saw coming in 2025. What they reveal about right now will change everything you thought you knew about prophetic knowledge and human potential.